Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about how to do basic Unix or terminal commands on your Mac. So basically, if you're a programmer, you're going to be using a lot of these commands to move throughout folders, create folders, um, change into folders, into a file path. So let's say you have your Python project or something else in a certain folder, with a certain folder title, you'll be able to move in through the terminal using these commands. And then also, in a separate video, I will talk about how you can create your own Anaconda environments and your virtual environments through Anaconda and run your more data science focused projects through Jupyter Notebook. So what your terminal is essentially a command line interface. So this is a tool like where you can run commands that essentially do the same actions that you were able to do in a more pleasant user experience. So if you ever have opened up Finder in Mac, you have like access to these different folders, right? So if you go to Documents, you have all these folders, right? So if you were to open up like a file like Projects, they have subfolders. And let's say I wanted to go to the Python folder, it has its own folders, and then on and on and on. So if I wanted to go into the YouTube folder and then within that go into like a Python folder, I'm basically four folders into my original projects folder, which was in Documents, which is also part of my overall users folder. So basically in your computer system, your operating system, you have all these folders and they go to what's known like a base path. So if I were to type in this command, so this is a command you can type into your terminal, and you might be asking how you get to that. So there's a couple ways with your Mac. So one is do Command spacebar, and then you can just type in terminal, and then just click enter. You can also use this little magnifying glass in the corner. Same thing. Hit terminal. You can also on your dock go to the Launchpad icon, open it up, and it's within the other folder, and it'll be like the little black box that says terminal. So once you have that open, you can run basically these common commands, and you'll just be used to using these commands over and over again, like when you start new Python projects, or other programming language projects. So PWD, what's this stand for? So this stands for Path to Working Directory. So don't worry about like the terminology, but essentially a directory is the same thing as a folder. So when you hear directory, I want you to think folder. So PWD, again, is acronym for Path to Working Directory. So what is a working directory? It's the current folder that you're in. So when you open up this terminal, you're going to be in your user folder. So you see how this first folder right here says users? That's going to be your base folder. So just think about it in like the simplest terms. It's like the highest level folder. It contains everything in your computer. All folders on your desktop documents goes to this users folder, and then within this users folder, there's multiple users. Usually there's one, but if you have like a shared computer, you can have multiple. So let's say I go back here. My bad. I go to Documents and I go to Users, right? So you can see that I have my own user folder, and that you usually set this up when you're first setting up your Mac. But you can have multiple users. Maybe you have like a guest user, and then their folders would be within here. So if I drop down here, you can see that I have my applications folder, my desktop folder, documents, downloads. These are like commonly used folders. And essentially, again, this is like a huge umbrella, and then you have all these folders like within this user folder, and then multiple users for your overall users folder. So let's say you wanted to get to that Python folder we talked about. So let's just do it for here first on the Finder. So I go to my users folder. I know it's in Documents. So within Documents, I know it's in Projects. So I go inside Projects. Within Projects, I know it's in the Python folder. Then within the Python folder, I know it's in the YouTube folder, and then within the YouTube folder, I know it's in the main_YT folder, and the Python folder, it's empty, but I want to create a file there. So now this is where we would change into different folders to get to that. And you might be asking like why you would do this for the terminal. The reason you do this in the terminal, let's say you want to run that Python file, then you can do it two ways. You can basically list the whole path to that file and then run it through a Python command. And I'll show you a little example there. I'll do both, and then you can actually just change into the that specific folder that has the file, and then just run the Python command with the Python file name. So don't worry, we're going to go through that, and don't worry if it seems like it's going a little too fast. We'll basically repeat the process, and I'll show you both ways to do it. So another common command that you're going to be using a lot is the ls command. So what does ls stand for? It's basically just list. So you're listing the files within your current folder. So if you see like words like this, that usually means it's a folder. If you see something like with an extension name, that's usually like a file. So remember how I got to this Python folder right here is I went to Documents, Projects, Python, YouTube, main_YT, and then Python right there. So how do you move into a new folder if your current folder is like IndyCar or whatever your username is? So remember, I'm in this current folder right here. So knowing that I need to get into Documents, basically what I do is type in CD capital Documents. And the reason you do capital is because that's what the folder is named. So with any type of utilization of computers, everything's case sensitive, or most things are case sensitive. So if I were to type in just _documents, it's not the same thing. Like, it's completely different. So I'm going to get an error trying to change into this non-existent folder because it doesn't exist. Oh. Okay, I guess it was smart enough to realize that. But usually, just rule of thumb, make sure that you're case sensitive. So CD documents. So what does CD stand for? CD stands for change directory. So basically change into that folder or go into that folder. So again, let's imagine I'm just doing this through the user interface on Finder. So I am in my IndyCar folder right here. So I basically do like ls, and then I open or change into Documents, and then now I should see this. So I change into Documents, and now I like just getting the good practices like when you change into a new folder or the folder that you specified, just to list what it is, because it gives you a good orientation where you're at. So or you can use pwd to do the same thing. So ls, basically listing the folders and files within this Documents folder. And if you notice too, this little text changed from this little tilde symbol to Documents. So that's another way to tell what current folder you're in. So ls. Now I know I have a bunch of folders I can change into based on this. And you can see it's the same thing. I have the same folders: Lisp, MIC, SC, Zoom, YouTube. All the things are basically the same. So I now know I have to go into the projects folder. And then again, pwd, path working directory. Okay, so I have users, IndyCar, and which is my username, and documents. So I'm in this folder. So now I want to go into projects. So I do CD, which stands for change into directory or change into folder. Projects. Okay. So now I see that I am in my projects folder, and I want to get into Python. So once I get into Python, I should see this list of folders. Okay, so change into Python, and I can do pwd, and you can see how with the path to working directory, that now we're in the Python folder, and you can see that we changed from projects to Python. So again, you have multiple indicators to tell where you're at once you go through and change into different folders. Let's say you made a mistake and you want to go back. So basically, you can do this command, cd, so change into directory, .. So this is basically just a command that says, like, hey, I want you to go to the previous folder. So that's what these two dots symbolize. So if I go with that, you can see I get changed back to projects. So that's how you know it's successful. You changed basically to the previous or parent folder. And you can see this with the pwd statement as well. Okay, so you can see I'm here. Now I want to get back to Python, so I change into the Python folder again. I want to go to the YouTube folder, I believe. Let me just make sure. Python. And then, yeah, within the YouTube folder, so I do CD, change into the YouTube directory or folder. Okay, you can see it went from Python to YouTube. I hit ls again to list the files because you might not recognize it from on the top of your mind. And then I changed into the main YT folder. Again, remember spelling is important, so make sure that you essentially just write the same folder name as you see here. So you can copy and paste it or type it. I usually just type it because it's better practice. So now I'm in the main underscore YT folder. I hit ls. I can also do a pwd to see how far I am within the file path. So you can see just from starting off at any car, I've already changed into 5 different folders. And it's all like the same path. So imagine this as the address. So if I wanted to get to the main underscore YT folder, I have to get there first by taking stops at my username, documents, projects, Python, YouTube, and now I'm in the current folder. So I hit ls, what folders I have here. I want to go into my own Python file. So usually when you're working with your own projects, you won't have this many folders, but I just wanted to show you guys how you can change into different folders. So now I go here, and I have nothing inside there because nothing's printed. So if you hit ls and it basically just goes to the next line, nothing's been printed. So now I want to show you how to make different folders and then also create files. So basically to make a folder, you do mkdir. So dir stands for directory, or short for directory. Mk short for make, so make directory or make a folder, so make a new folder. And then you can name your folder anything you want. But usually the general convention is to have it be like one word, or you're going to have trouble with folders that have like spaces in between it. You're going to have to wrap that around in quotation marks. So I'm just going to name this something simple, so like sample. I'm going to make a folder called sample. And then you actually be able to see the changes reflected like after I enter this code. So you type in mkdir space sample. So I'm making a folder called sample. I hit ls, and you can see that now I have a sample folder here. So if I wanted to, I could change into that sample folder. It'll be empty, of course, because I just created it. Okay, and it went from Python to sample. So now if I hit pwd, path to working directory, you can see now the path I'm in. So this is actually good. I can actually copy this for later. So let's say that you already know what folder you specifically want to go to, and you know the path. You can actually, let me maximize this a little bit. You can actually, if you're already in a specific folder and know the path, you can just hit cd, the path to that folder, and it will get you to that. So instead of having to do every cd or change directory action separately, you can just, if you know the path, just input the path and it'll automatically do all that. So now I am in that sample folder. So you can see that did the same thing. So basically this path is important. Instead of having to do every action separately, you can just copy and paste the path right here. Or if you have it memorized, just type that in as well. So let's say you just wanted to get to this YouTube folder. What you could do, and let me just, because it's easier to do it with a new terminal. So I want to get to that YouTube folder. So now I just copy that, and I'm in the YouTube folder. And pwd shows I'm in that file path. Okay, I'm going to go back into the parent folder. So how do you do that? You type in cd ... Okay, and now I'm in the sample folder, but how do you create a file? So you can create a file like this. Touch, let's just do abc.py. So this is going to create a file with this name. And let's say you wanted to do more than one file. The same thing with the mkdir command. You're going to have multiple arguments after this keyword. So you can do touch or mkdir in multiple files. So let's say I want to create a Python file, which you can see by the ending extension here, and maybe like a text file. So like random.txt. Then like when I hit enter, you're going to see those files reflected on Finder. So you can see I created these two files. So if you wanted to, you could basically just right-click on Finder and open them up with your integrated development environment, or basically text editor or code editor. So I can use Visual Studio Code by right-clicking here, or if you want to do it programmatically, if you already have Visual Studio Code set up, along with the code command, you can open up Visual Studio Code doing code dot. So what dot usually represents is, hey, this current folder. So if I open this up, that basically opens up Visual Studio Code here, and then let's say that you get an error with that code command. As long as you have Visual Studio Code installed, all you have to do is do Shift Command P. It's going to open up this palette, thing, and then you just type in cod, and then you look for this command right here, install code command in path. So what this is going to do is just give you a little command line tool where you can open up Visual Studio Code within the current folder that you want to be in. So let's say, hey, I don't want to be in this Python folder. I actually want to be in the sample folder and open up the editor. What you would do is just change into that folder. Remember, it has no files, so I can just open it up with code right here. And again, it's empty, so I can create a file through Visual Studio Code as well. So let's say I want to do def.py. That's going to be reflected here, and then when I do ls, you're going to see that file here as well. So I want to go back to the parent folder, so cd dot dot, and I still have these files. So let's say you wanted to add some text into one of these files. Again, you could do it through the code space dot command, or even that file in general, so code abc.py. Okay. And that's basically going to quit this. Oops, my bad. But that's going to open up that file in one of your open Visual Studio Code editors, or just open up the file in general. Let's say you wanted to run one of your Python files, so let's just shortly modify that. So in order, if you wanted to add something just through the terminal or command line interface, you can use what's called vim, or you can also use like commands like nano or something similar. But don't worry about this last command here. I just wanted to shortly do that so I can run a Python file. So VI stands for Vim. If you want to learn more about it, I'll probably do a future video on it. But let's just open up that abc.py. I'm just going to do a simple hello world print statement function. So in order to actually insert some text, once you're in this terminal with the little tildes, you will want to click on the letter A. So you'll see it changes to insert. So now I'm just going to write my my Python here because it's short, like Python function. And I basically can also do this for Visual Studio Code, which you'll normally do. I'm just doing this for sake of time. So df print hello, and then let's just say I don't want any inputs there. So I'm just going to do print hello world, and then I'm going to call it further down below. So now I want to save this. I will hit escape, colon, WQ, and then the exclamation point. So what this stands for in Vim is write. So like make sure to write this text I entered and then quit. So after you like write and save, like just exit out of this program, and then the exclamation point basically does the same thing. Or issue that command. Again, I'll go over some more Vim commands in a future video, but this is just a quick overview. Now we know that the abc.py file has text, and essentially what I just wanted to do was to show you how to use the Python command after you have Python installed. So if you want to run a Python file, you use the command keyword Python, and then space, and then the name of the Python file that you want to run. So how do you know if you have a Python file? It ends with .py. So again, this the second argument here can be any Python file. So let's say we had like a Python file called let's actually just create it, touch print.py. So now we know that we have this Python file. So, but we want to run the abc.py file. So use the Python command, then you add whatever Python file that you want to run. So I should expect to see hello world printed to the command line. So this Python file ran successfully. We know that since we just created this print.py file, there is no Python code in that file. So after we type Python print.py, again, this is a Python file name with a Python extension, but there's no Python code. So if Python were to run this Python code, nothing would return. So what we should expect to see is just basically this printed on the next line. So again, since there's no Python code to run, Python tries to run the Python file, and nothing happens because there's no code. Essentially, all you have to know if you want to run Python files is use the Python command, and then whatever the Python file name is. So we have two Python files here. If I wanted to run the abc.py file, run that. If you try to run a file that doesn't exist, let's say like you think a folder has like altitude.py, but it isn't in that folder, then you're going to get a little error. Can't open it. No such file or directory. So just if you want to see like what files you have, you can just do the else statement like stated before. That's just the general process. If you want to run Python files, Python space, and then whatever the Python file name is. Finally, I just wanted to show you if you were to go along with some Python articles or just want to use Python line by line, you could use what is known as the Python interpreter. So you have Python installed, just type in the word Python. And you can see like you have these three little greater than signs, and that basically just lets you know that you can run Python. So I can run like addition commands, I can run subtraction commands, and then like whatever line you enter in Python is going to return the output. So again, let's say I just wanted to run that function that I created earlier. So let's see, print by. So I just write a function. I don't advise this because once you write functions, like you have to, the spacing or indentation is important. It's hard to do it with this Python interpreter. So let's just do by. So I run that function, and you can see after the dots, like I've exited the scope of the function. So that basically means that like I'm outside the function now. I can run it. So print by, and you can see that I can also run functions here. So this is, you can use the Python interpreter to like run like kind of like one-liners in code, or like go through an article if you don't want to open up Visual Studio Code and create its own text file. But I would, for bigger projects, not use this. So after you're done with the Python interpreter, you can just type in exit and then open parentheses, close parentheses. And what this is going to do is exit you out of the Python interpreter and back to your normal terminal. And you can see that by the ending of the three greater sign list right here, and now you're back to what you were able to do before. And one more point of note is that once you hit the Python or enter into the Python interpreter, you can find out what type or version of Python you have. So yeah, these are just some commands that you'll most likely or most commonly use when you are working with Python or just programmatically with the terminal. So like moving into folders, creating files, running Python files. And in a future video, we're going to talk about how to run Anaconda, create virtual environments, and also set up Jupyter notebooks, which will be more like data science related. So overall, these tools you're going to commonly use. So especially the commands like cd or touch or make mkdir or cd ... to move back to the parent folder. You're going to move folders through folders a lot, like with any type of language. So whether it's like Java or C++ or Go, and other languages, you're going to want to become good at moving through your folders through the terminal, because it can be faster than going through um, the Finder. So again, these commands basically are just like kind of high level how to utilize the power of your computer through a command line. So again, just trust me on this. It's faster than doing Finder, and being able to run your files through this little black or white box too. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys.